Hello and welcome to Mr. Manley History Teacher's latest video for the AQA History A-level students studying for component 1C, the Tudors from 1485 to 1603 paper. This video will be covering the content for the course necessary for the summer 2022 assessment. However, we will still be alluding to content that will be taught to students who are going to be taking their Tudor A-level paper in the summer of 2023. So this video will still be relevant to you even if you're taking your Tudor A-level paper in the summer of 2023. Let's get started with the content. So here we have the updated specification which came out in the spring of 2022. Now, importantly, the main concepts of change and continuity have remained in place and they should form the main focus of your essay answers still. Let's get started with Henry Tudor. Now you'll notice on the slide in the video that there are a couple of topics that have been removed, and they are the foreign policy topic and also the economic policy topic as well. However, I'll be mentioning this throughout the video. Don't erase all knowledge of these topics from your brain because you can still earn marks by linking these topics to other existing topics like government, for example. If we see here under the government topic, it says royal finance, and your knowledge on Henry Tudor's economic policies will still be really relevant to Henry Tudor's government's royal finance. So don't remove all knowledge of Henry Tudor's, and don't forget all your learning about Henry Tudor's economic policies. We also need to make sure that we have good knowledge on Henry Tudor's parliament, his domestic policies, his foreign relations with Scotland and other foreign powers as well. You could get asked an essay question or an extract question on that. And also society under Henry Tudor. So churchmen, nobles, commoners, regional divisions, social discontent and rebellions. So rebellions like the Cornish Rebellion, Perkin Warbeck, Lambert Simnel. You need to have a good understanding about the threats and challenges faced to Henry Tudor's government. In terms of Henry VIII and what you need to know about him and his rule, you need to have a good understanding about his character and aims, religion and the Reformation, and foreign policy as well. So foreign policy, like Henry Tudor, you need to have a good understanding about that as well. So relationship with Scotland and other foreign powers. And as I mentioned, religion, very important. The break from Rome, Henry VIII's Grand Matter, the Pilgrimage of Grace, all those topics you need to have a good understanding about, and make sure when you take your assessment you have a good bank of knowledge about those different factors and topics. The mid-Tudor crisis, interesting now, includes the early years of Elizabeth I's rule as well. You'll see here the bottom bullet point, the impact of economic, social and religious developments in the early years of Elizabeth's rule. So if you get asked a question focusing on the mid-Tudor crisis and that period between 1547, now it's until 1563 rather than 1559, and you can include information, you're encouraged to include information and own contextual knowledge on Elizabeth I's early rule as well. And then finally, we've got Elizabeth I's sort of mid to latter part of her rule, and you need to have a good understanding about topics such as her foreign policy, foreign affairs, society, again, that key conceptual focus, change and continuity, social discontent and rebellions, for example, the Northern Rebellion, the Essex Rebellion, and economic development, trade, exploration and colonisation as well. So this is what is now in the summer 2022 Tudor assessment paper. All these factors and topics you could be questioned on. Here we have a grid of the different themes that will be appearing in the Tudor A-level paper for the summer of 2022. And on the left-hand side, we have a list of all the themes that will be included, as well as those that have been removed by AQA in the spring of 2022 due to the COVID pandemic. So we've mentioned some of them already on the previous slide. However, if you are taking A-level history in year 12 at the moment and you're going to be doing your Tudor assessment in the summer of 2023, the topics with the lines going through them on the left-hand side, they will still be relevant for you in the summer of 2023. So we'll pop those in yellow for you just to have a look at, for example, society, economic development and trade within Henry VIII. That will be potentially in your summer of 2023 assessment paper. The mid-Tudor crisis period, Edward VI's relationship with Somerset and Northumberland and their policies, that could potentially be coming up in the summer of 2023 as well. Mary I and her advisors, that will be re-included. Elizabeth I characters and aims in the early years of her rule as well. So there's quite a few topics that we reintegrated again into the Tudor component of the A-level course. And then finally, the triumph of Elizabeth from 1563 to 1603, Elizabeth's government, court, ministers and parliament, that will be reintegrated, religious developments as well, and then finally the latter years of Elizabeth's rule. Now I've expanded for you on the next slide the grid on the right hand side, so let's have a look at that. So here we've got the matrix, the grid of the different Tudor monarchs with the different themes that you'll need to have a good understanding for the summer 2022 Tudor paper. And the parts that have been highlighted in that light yellow colour or shaded in that light yellow colour, they could potentially be in the summer 2022 Tudor 1C A-level paper. So it's really important that you identify the themes that you're more comfortable with, the themes that you might find more challenging, and make sure, and this is absolutely vital, you have a good understanding of the concepts of change and continuity for each of these different concepts. So for example, the consolidation of power between Henry VII and Henry VIII, religious change from Henry VIII to the early Elizabethan period, foreign policy between Henry VII, Henry VIII, and then finally Elizabeth between 1563 and 1603, economic continuity and change between Edward VI and Elizabeth I, and then societal change pretty much throughout the period apart from societal change during Henry VIII's reign. I hope this video helps. Click on the like button and give my page Mr. Manley History Teacher a subscribe.